Hello, welcome back into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next 8 to 10 days. In today's video, this is going to take us into the start of January. Can you believe? I think day 10 is the 2nd of January. So we've got a mild Christmas coming up, as we know. It's going to be pretty wet rather than white across many parts of the country. Particularly concerned about the situation across northern England. This Christmas, I think, unfortunately, some places could have further flooding on Christmas Day and Boxing Day. So Christmas floods, unfortunately, for a few people in the north of England. After that, I think we're going to try and build some high pressure to the east. It may delay the Atlantic and slow it down a little bit for a while, but by New Year, I think we'll be back to stormy conditions. So have a look at all the charts in a second. But before I get on with that, just say about the ads. There's links to articles on all pages at Gas Office, have a browse widgets, click through links. If there's any articles that you're interested in, thanks so much for doing that. This video ads, I page, check open up the content, when you watch them, close back up again. And that is helping to pay for the website. If you're wondering where the 5-day forecast is, it's cancelled today because I'll be doing the week ahead forecast tomorrow. And that'll cover the whole of the Christmas period going into the new year in detail as well. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough today. So I'm going to start off just quickly with situation over Christmas. This is the priority, of course, at the moment with the charts of stormy weather. This area of low pressure just here, widening itself up to western Scotland at 6 o'clock this evening, is what is being named Storm Eva, and that's going to give a pretty wet and windy Christmas Eve to many parts of the country. So as we run up to 6 o'clock in the morning, you can see we've got tight packed ice bars across the country. It'll be starting windy tomorrow for Christmas Eve. There'll be heavy rain in the northwest. It'll be sweeping across all parts of the country through the course of Thursday morning. That will clear out of the way on Thursday afternoon. It'll stay windy, especially in the north, but winds will moderate a little bit compared to what they'll be like in the morning. And we're feeling a colder air mass, particularly to the north, with sunshine and showers. Those showers could turn wintry over high ground in Scotland. Christmas Day is looking like this, so we start off with ever such a slight transient ridge across the country. Should be a fair amount of fine weather. There could be some whiteness on the ground in the north from frost, but probably not in the south. But this area of low pressure here is the troublemaker. That's going to be moving in through the course of Christmas Day, bringing a much milder push of air. Again, if follow the ice bars back, the air is going down to the Azores and to the Canary Islands, so another mild push of air, but also a lot of moisture later within this system. Heavy rain moving northwards during the course of the day on Christmas Day. And then you see the low pressure is centred out to the west of the country by 6 o'clock in the morning on Boxing Day, just there across Ireland. So it's one of those situations, again, unfortunately, that there's a weather front sort of strung out. It's stretching to the east of us. It's going down to the middle part of the Atlantic, actually, with waves of rain, pulses of rain running along it. And it's going to be, got the position of that a little bit wrong, it's going to be strung out through that part of the world. So through southwestern Scotland, perhaps northern England, North Wales, exactly where we don't need it. Could be a lot of heavy rain Christmas Day into Boxing Day. Eventually it pushes northwards and will ease off during the course of Boxing Day. So here's the precipitation forecast from the GFS. Wet and windy weather in the north and west to start Christmas Eve. That sweeps across the country through the course of the morning. It'll be a wet and windy morning. If you're off doing late Christmas shopping, take your brolly with you, but you may not be able to keep it up actually, because it could be blown away by the wind. That will clear away during the course of Christmas Eve afternoon, and then it will turn brighter with showers in the north and west. Those showers could turn wintry across the high ground in Scotland. Things calm down overnight Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, so I think Father Christmas isn't going to have it too bad on Christmas Eve and into the early hours of Christmas Day. But look at all this rain lurking down to the southwest at 6 o'clock in the morning. Pushes northwards and eastwards during the course of the morning of Christmas Day, giving much of England away as a very wet morning. I mean, it carries on northwards, but sort of stalls across northern England. This is what I'm concerned about. Where this stall is occurring is exactly where we don't need it, through Wales, northern England. It could be very, very wet there with the rain really clocking up. It just keeps on. This is 6 o'clock in the morning on Boxing Day. It's still roughly in the same position. North Wales, northern England. Persistent rain over several hours. We know we already had flooding down there earlier in the month. It's a little bit again yesterday, I think. So, really is bad news for the folks in Cumbria and other parts of northern England. During Boxing Day itself, that rain carries on north into Scotland, where it could turn to snow on the leading edge as it hits that colder air. And then it sort of dies out and things will calm down a little bit. But that does look quite alarming for northern England over the Christmas period, particularly later on Christmas Day and through into Boxing Day. Do keep an eye on the forecast if you live close to a river up there. Right, let's have a look at the extended outlook. These are the 500 millibar height anomalies for the next week to 10 days. So we've got the east end of the Earth here on the top. The GFS is down on the bottom. 500 millibars in the absolute high pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates to low pressure and red extrapolates to high pressure. So as I say, this is taking us just into the start of the new year now. We go to the 2nd of January, day 10, and both of them are placed in this very deep trough of low pressure in the Atlantic. Got a strong jet stream. And we've also got this big wall of high pressure sitting to the east of us. So again, I was talking about this the other day. It's the irresistible force meets the immovable object with a deep trough, and it is a very deep trough in the Atlantic, coming up against this ridge to the east. It's a little bit worrying, this, because it's a little bit similar to what happened in January 2014, when we had a horrible month with high pressure sitting to the east, low pressure in the Atlantic, throwing in band after band of rain, and as those bands of rain come up against this wall of high pressure, sort of grind to a halt and produce a lot of wet weather. I'm not saying we're going to go into that again, but it is a little bit alarming what we are seeing here. Really strong jet stream as well, indicated by these tight lines. So wet and windy, I think, really is the call as we're going into the start of the new year. Now, with this high pressure lurking to the east, we have got to watch out if it goes far enough north, say to northern Scandinavia. We've got to watch out for the chance that it could turn the winds into the east. There's not a great deal of evidence that it's going to do that yet. It's not in the right position. The trough of low pressure in the Atlantic is a little bit too deep and too close to us. But we've got to watch out for it. Whenever you get high pressure building to the east, it's a possibility, no more than that, but you could start getting some colder, easy winds from it. But at this stage, not a great deal of evidence that that is what's going to happen. So these are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year temperature average. So we're going to be a little bit near normal, really, as we're going through the Christmas period, so Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. Temperatures won't be deviating all that far from the average. Then we get this next push of very warm air after Christmas Day, significantly milder than average during this period, running up to New Year. And then after that, we see a drop in the temperature going down to near normal. But look at all these rainfall spikes as we're going towards the end of the year. This is the 1st of January, just here. Tremendous number of rainfall spikes. It does look a very wet end to the year, if this is right. And this is probably being created by the low pressure, the trough in the Atlantic, throwing weather fronts in across the country. They come up against that wall of high pressure to the east, grind to a halt, and produce a lot of rain. So again, that does look very alarming, to be honest, as we're going up towards the new year. Won't be at all surprised if there is yet more flooding. Temperatures do cool down, as I say, up towards the new year, but no evidence of anything particularly cold coming up at that stage. We're not suffering alone with this exceptionally mild December, because eastern parts of America also exceptionally mild. This is the temperature anomaly for the coming week, going from the 23rd of December through to the 31st, New Year's Eve. You can see western parts of the states really significantly colder than average, but in the east it's significantly warmer than average. So a real east-west split across the states at the moment. Temperatures in New York City on Christmas Day being forecast at 21 Celsius, that's 70 Fahrenheit, and it's closer to the average maximum temperature in July in this country. That's around what we expect in July in this country, 70 Fahrenheit. So quite exceptional warmth in the east of the states, but I say it is colder out in the west, and there is evidence as we go into the new year. Actually, this colder air may force its way east, even into eastern parts of America. For Europe, this is how the temperature anomalies are stacking up for the coming week from Christmas to New Year, and it's just a sea of red, really. Milder than average in the west, milder than average in the east over towards Russia, really hardly any colder than average temperature anomalies anywhere across Europe. The rainfall anomaly, again, drier than average in most of southern Europe, indicative of high pressure, wetter than average in the north and west, particularly so for Ireland and the United Kingdom, where it does look very wet indeed as we approach the new year. So here we are with the GFS for Sunday, bringing up this southerly wind. Mainly dry, I think, on Sunday. The weather fronts are out to the west of the country. And that's probably the case on Monday as well. High pressure to the east, low pressure out in the Atlantic. We're bringing up a mild southerly, but it probably is mostly dry for Bank Holiday Monday the 28th. But after that, I think we do start to see bands of rain moving in off the Atlantic. Slow moving rain as well, with this area of high pressure sitting to the east across Scandinavia. This looks very stormy on Wednesday the 30th of December. We've got gale force winds here sweeping the country. A lot of heavy rain coming in as well. And then we go up to New Year's Eve, still looking unsettled, probably sunshine and showers. New Year's Day, haven't got New Year's Day up actually, I'll just get your New Year's Day up so we can see what the first day of 2016 is looking like. There we go, another wet and windy day with another band of rain, heavy winds sweeping in across the country as well. And then day 10, which is the 2nd of January, back to sunshine and showers, but all driven by low pressure in the Atlantic, so Atlantic driven pattern dominating into the start of the new year. EWF, very similar. We're going to have this very mild southwesterly wind on Sunday, probably mostly dry on Bank Holiday Monday as well, but then a band of rain comes in on Tuesday, slow moving rain because of this high pressure sitting to the east of us. Wednesday the 30th, another one of these long fetched southwesters, so that will be an exceptionally mild day if it comes off, with more rain in the north and west. And then further bands of rain going through into New Year's Eve. A little bit quieter, perhaps by the 2nd of January, but still very much in an Atlantic driven pattern. And then finally the GEM, the Canadian model. It's a little bit different, this one. So the high pressure over Scandinavia is closer to us on Tuesday the 29th. Means that the rain is more restricted out to the far west of the country. However, we do bring bands of rain in off the Atlantic as we run up to New Year. This is New Year's Eve. 1,055 millibar area of high pressure across Scandinavia is threatening to bring us cold easterly winds, but really it's the Atlantic that's still driving things, and there would be weather fronts, particularly in the north and west, producing a lot of rain. And no change as we go through to the 2nd of January, staying in Atlantic driven pattern, staying windy, mild and wet. So it is a little bit alarming what we're seeing here. We've already had some flooding across southwestern Scotland and northwestern England. I'm concerned about the situation over Christmas itself. Probably a few days of drier weather just after Christmas, but running up to the new year, I think we're going back to very wet and stormy conditions. And these bands of rain towards the new year will probably be very slow moving because of this ridge that we've got developing to the east. So a lot to be watching. The folks at the UK Met Office and the Environment Agency work throughout the Christmas period, updating the warning. So if you're at all concerned about flooding, keep an eye on the Environment Agency and the UK Met Office. I think there will almost certainly be flooding for someone this Christmas, unfortunately. Right, it's the weekend forecast where I'm covering the whole of the Christmas period, so come back for that on Christmas Eve. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching.